what's bothering you in the world of sports. Give Murph a call at 312-644-6767. That's 312-644-6767. And tell him what's beefing you in the world of sports. What's Your Beef is brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering.
Oh, time for What's Your Beef, brought to you by my friends at Brown's. Oh, it ain't just chicken anymore. All right, line up now, beat the crowd, sports beefs. And as always, the best beefs from you and the best beefs from me, Brown's. Italian, look at your clock. You're in the car, 12:15, time for lunch. You're out and about, there's 50 Brown's Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana locations. And there's one up on the left. Pull into Brown's, you get the Italian beef. All the trimmings. You got an Italian sausage. Say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put them together. I'm going to have a combo. Oh, man, Italian beef, Italian sausage, nestled in that delicious French toasted bread roll. Maybe on the side you get some of those golden mushrooms. Me, I love the coleslaw, the baked beans. Potato salad, all at Brown's. It tastes better. Let's see what the fans are beefing about today. Ron gets us rolling in Edgewater up on the north side. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Murph.
How are you?
My beef is just exactly what you're talking about. It's Alfonso Soriano and these other, hot dogs who the Cubs paid $136 million on this guy, okay?
Yeah.
He's 3 for his last 39, I think, at the plate, okay? Now, he hits his home run and he tries to showboat what he's doing, going around the bases when he's performed so pitifully, getting all of this money and the other sports people to try to showboat what they're doing. It's bad enough that the umpires aren't in a right spot to like what happened over the weekend. That's why the suspensions were cut down from 6 games to 5 games because maybe they felt the umpires didn't do the best job.
Well, the umpires totally bollocksed it up. But go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, but what Alfonso Soriano did about the moonwalk was totally unacceptable, especially making this kind of money.
Well, let me ask you this, Ron, and it's a great beef. Let me ask you this. Mike Yermrum continued. He goes, should baseball, Ron, have a rule like the NFL where they flag Terrell Owens for excessive celebration? Remember when he pulled the Sharpie out of his sock and autographed, Should baseball have some rule that says you cannot excessively celebrate? How would you enforce it? You can't take 15 yards.
Right. I think they definitely should because the other leagues have things. Because all it did for the Cubs playing all this money for him, it all just made a fool of himself.
Well, I know that, but and you're exactly right. But Ron, other players do it too.
Right.
How do you?
Wrong.
But no, don't get me wrong. You're preaching to Murph's choir. I'm with you on this. But how do you stop it short of throwing a ball up at someone's head?
Well, Major League Baseball's got to get they've got all these other stupid things that they do. They got to get together and come up with some kind of a thing, maybe like the NFL has got, or like.
Hey, you know what, Ron? You're going to visit my friends at Brown's. It ain't just chicken anymore. Great beef. Hang on, okay, Ron?
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Hook up Ron up in Edgewater. He's probably going to go get a big meatball sandwich. The big meatballs takes 2 hands to hold it with the marinara, toasted French roll. And, of course, Superfan Dan here, bloop, right on, the silk necktie. Man, that marinara looks good on your tie today, Danny. Let's go to, no, I'm not going to lick it off. Let's go to Mike. No, Mike is downtown. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Fine. What's your beef?
Well, my beef is on so many levels on this topic because, number one, I may be the only guy in Chicago that thinks this whole thing was fabricated. I don't believe they were throwing at Derek Lee intentionally. If I'm a pitcher, number one.
Yeah.
And Soriano does that to me. Why in the heck am I going to throw at Derek Lee when I know Soriano's coming up to the plate sooner or later? I'm throwing at him. I'm not going to throw it. I could care less about Derek Lee. I'm getting even with Soriano, number one. Number two, if you want to stop the showboating, don't give up the home run. I watched the top 50 classic moments in baseball the other night during the White Sox delay.
I saw it, yeah.
12 of those things are with home runs back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Everybody's been showboating for years.
Well, and you know what, Mike? I mean, you're exactly right. But what do you do then when Zambrano or any pitcher starts fist pumping, when he strikes out the big hitter with the bases loaded and 1 out? What do you do then?
You know what? If Soriano does what he's going to do, You know, if you want to showboat when he comes up and you strike him out the next time, then point a finger at him and tell him, guess what? I got you this time. But or deck him the next time around. Why would you? He's in the starting lineup. He's a regular player. You don't hit somebody else because that guy was the showboat. I never heard of that before.
Thanks for your beef, Mike. I appreciate your time.
Bye.
All right, buddy. 312-644-6767. Hey, last-minute graduation party this weekend. Are you having a bunch of people over? Visit brownschicken.com. Find the Browns nearest you. You won't believe this big $99 graduation party special for your son, your daughter. You got the graduation, high school, college. You have folks coming in from out of town. Maybe it's a week or two after the graduation. Call up Browns. Set it up now for this weekend and for $99. The graduation party special will be waiting for you. You get the crispy Browns chicken. You know, it tastes better. The juicy Browns Italian beef, the sausage, the toasted buns, the zesty mustacholi, all the trimmings. You won't believe it. And, again, why should your wife have to do all the cooking this weekend? You're having people over. Just set it up with Browns. Call them. $99 party special. Let's bring up Mark from Naperville. Hello, Mike. Hello, Marcus. How are you, buddy?
How you doing, Murph?
Good, Mark. What's your beef in Naperville?
Well, I got fairly simple. I'm cruising down the highway today, and I see a guy flying one of those Cubs W flags. And I don't have a problem with the W flag, but when you haven't won a game since Friday, well, that's a little stale. We need to put that one down if we're going to win a game tonight. I think they're jinxing us.
So what he ought to have is maybe after the loss, you put the white L on the blue flag as opposed to the blue W on the white flag.
Or at least get that white one down. Right.
Just not a white flag trade. That's the South Side they're talking about. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, that's on the South Side.
Good one, buddy. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
you,
it very much. Funny how just 3 weeks ago Ozzy said, no, white flag trade. Oh, man, if you did that, you'd be a loser. Well, you know what? There's always a definition of time versus the action. 3 weeks later, things might be a little different. In fact, got some great highlights I'll play. 1 o'clock, we're going to have total fan talk, and we're going to talk about trade rumors with the Cubs and the Sox and the Chicago Bulls. And Fred Hubner and Mike North today were on fire. The two Sox fans, Freddie and North, sort of going back and forth as to whether it's over. This ball game is over or not. Let's go to Wicker Park. Jack is next. Hello, Jackson.
Murph, what's going on? It's my favorite man.
Hey, Jack, what's your beef?
Hey, partner, I just got a question, or my beef's with someone who wears his heart on his jerseys, blue-collar grinder. You know, the Ranger, he does a great job. I like the guy a lot, but I don't understand why every time Aaron Rowan's name's mentioned, he just blows a gasket. I'm not saying I want him back, but he did so much for the team. I don't know why he gets so much bad press. I just don't get it.
Well, you know, and Chris Ranji, I would say this even if he was on a different state. He does a great job. It's a tough grind to have to do the hour, 2 hours after one loss after the other. He's not a house man. I've heard him go, both ways, for and against. But he does have a thing going with the Aaron Rowan callers, doesn't he, Jack?
I don't get it, boss. I really don't, Chief.
All right, buddy. Hey, phone again, Jack. Thank you, buddy. Jackson.
Thank you.
Okay, there he goes. Let's bring up Mike is in Naperville. Miguel, hola.
Hey, Murph, how you doing, buddy?
Fine, Mike. What's your beef?
Hey, my beef is with the entire White Sox coaching staff.
The entire staff, from Joey Cora to Razor Shines, all up and down. Harold Baines, down to the Dr. Cooper, and Cave out in the bullpen, huh?
You got
Greg
everything.
Walker. Yeah.
Greg Walker, good Lord. I have listened to these guys come on the airwaves for this entire year and last year like they're the geniuses in life. I watch games where these guys cannot hit, they can't bunt. You got pitchers who can't throw strikes. And they're just standing up there saying, well, we know what we're doing. Obviously, they don't. And our manager, Ozzie, lifelong Sox fan, he's driving me out of my mind. He's got to figure out how to use his talent better.
Let's do this. Let's look at one game last night, and let's see if we can distill down what you're saying. If you saw the game, two White Sox were thrown off base by catcher Miguel Olivo, who was a White Sox catcher. He picked off, is the word I meant to say. He picked Fields off second from behind the plate, And the same inning, I don't know if this happens very often, then he picks off Jerry Owens off first base, 2 outs in 1 inning. Now, who did Miguel Olivo used to play for? Whose system he was? He was a White Sox.
Yes, he was. He was coming up through the ranks.
Absolutely.
They really thought he was going to be great. Next thing you know, they got now.
Well, he was the Seattle trade, I believe, for Freddie Garcia, so not a bad deal at the time.
Trade.
But let me ask you this: up from the minors is Josh Fields, and up from the minors, Jerry Owens. Both get picked off last night. Do you think, and this will be a question that Sox coaches should answer also, but you're talking about their coaches, Mike? I would wonder if Fields and Owens up from AAA knew much about Miguel Olivo. It's almost as if the coaching staff, or Ozzie, he's the boss, do you think they didn't even say to Fields and Owens, this guy will pick it clean as a whistle?
You know, my confidence level is I don't even know if they tell him what time to be at the ballpark.
Oh, geez. And Michael, you declare, Sox fan, right?
Oh, lifelong.
All right, just for the record. Thanks, Michael. Oh, man. Hey, you want to go relax? Go get that brand new car. That'll take your mind off the Sox and the Cubs. Jack Phelan, Chevrolet, 4000 South Harlem Avenue in Lyons. Huge selection. How about Suzuki's, Isuzu's, Dodge, Jack Phelan, Ogden Avenue in Berwyn. Huge selection. Huge inventory. Family owned. You got to see Jack. And you got to see John Phelan. And you got to see J.C. Phelan. Visit them today. You got to see Jack.com. Back to a second round of phone calls. What's your beef? Browns? Lunchtime? Beefs? Browns? Oh, pull in right now. Get your lunch at Browns. The sandwiches, you won't believe it. Sports Radio 670. It's Murph. 25 minutes there. Nonstop sports talk. Time it. More next. It's the Score.
Today on Air Your Beef.
Welcome back. It's Murph, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Let's get back to the beef lines, courtesy of Browns. Lunchtime in Browns. Italian beefs, Italian sausage. Put them together. Call them a combo. That's the favorite of Browns president Frank Portillo. Me? I love the Maxwell Street Polish, the grilled onions, the yellow mustard. You can't even find Maxwell Street anymore. Browns has it for you. You don't have to go to Taylor Street. Go to Browns for the Italian beefs, the Italian sausage, and the combos. Let's bring up, speaking of that, he's calling from Sandwich, Illinois, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you know it? It's Jack. Hello, Jackson.
Hey, how you doing, Murph?
Good, Jack. What's your beef?
I got a big beef with Kenny Williams. What do you mean he can't embrace the problem? Which White Sox team is he watching? Is he watching highlights from the 2005 World Series?
Quite honestly, this is starting to piss me off.
Or is he watching this year's White Sox team? Come on now, make some. Or you know what? You know what I really think it is, Murph? He's got that White Sox ring on, and those diamonds are blinding him, and he really can't. He really doesn't know what he's seeing at all.
You're gonna go visit my friends at Browns. Anyone from Sandwich, Illinois, would know a great sandwich. Browns for you. Hang on, Jack.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
All right, buddy. Let's get right back to the beef lines. Final round of phone calls. What's your beef from my friends at Browns? You know, one of the great things about Browns is they do their sandwiches the Chicago way. Now, I don't know if you're a lifelong Chicagoan, maybe like me, you know, used to go with Dad, get an Italian beef, and you haven't had a true Chicago Italian beef, Italian sausage in 20, 30 years. Browns has it done the right way, the Chicago way. But I always also think maybe you just moved here from Michigan, you just moved here from the East, you moved here from wherever the hell, and you always hear about these Italian beef sandwiches. You go, I don't know where to go. I got to go, what, downtown Chicago? No, Browns has the official Chicago way Italian beefs that we grew up with here, the Italian sausage. It's only the Chicago way. In fact, Italian beefs barely known around the country. But they're starting to make inroads around to the other major cities as Chicagoans relocate. You got it right here at Brown's, the authentic Italian beef sandwiches your dad grew up with, Grandpa grew up with, and maybe you grew up with. Check it out at Brown's. Let's go to Psycho from Westchester's on the Score. Hello, Psycho.
Hey, Murph. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Psycho. What's your beef?
My beef's with the Cubs fans. Every time a foul ball or home run comes, they always got to stick their hands or hats into the play and interfere with play. What happened to Cliff Floyd Friday against Adrian Gonzalez's ball? What is this, a 2003 Bartman incident?
Psycho, you raise a great point. There were two Bartman-esque moves within one inning of each other at Wrigley Field. It's something that you would think the fans who have seen or learned about Bartman, you think they would know what to do. Did you notice at Pittsburgh when Thome hit what looked like a 3-run homer to tie it up the other night or put him ahead, the fans in Pittsburgh stayed back so Jason Bay could reach into the stands in Pittsburgh and catch the ball unimpeded.
Hey, Murph, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Why don't you go to Sports Authority, buy themselves an $8 baseball, and just pretend to go home, and they got a ball at the game. They could buy it at Sports Authority.
There you go.
It's just ridiculous.
Thanks, Psycho. Appreciate it, buddy. But I will say this, and I don't like to jump into the middle of a beef, but you don't see it all the time at Wrigley Field because of the construction of the ballpark. You never see a fan reach down and grab a live ball rolling that's in play because of the way that the park is constructed down the foul lines where Bartman was sitting. You can certainly still interfere with a pop-up, but you can never interfere at Wrigley Field with a live ball, like down the line at Boston or at Houston or even at Sox Park where a double's rattling down the line. You're able physically to reach over and grab it. But rarely at Wrigley Field do you see a fan long enough length to be able to reach out and reach in front of the lip of the basket. Hardly ever do you see that happen twice within an inning and a half. Brad's in Bartlett next on the score. Hello, Brad.
Hey, Murph, how's it going?
Fine. What's your beef, Bradley?
I need your help on this one, Murph. My beef is with my brother.
Yeah?
We have had a disagreement about one Jock Jones.
Who's for him and who's against him?
I am against this guy terribly.
Then you win. You win. There's no discussion. You're going to Browns. It tastes better. There's no discussion. Brad from Bartlett. Hang on, buddy. You're going to go visit my friends at Browns. Get the Maxwell Street Polish. Tell them Murph said it's the best. Sports Radio 670, back in a flash. Almost 40 minutes right there. Nonstop sports talk. More next. Fan talk in a little while also. It's the score.
I want to talk to you. Hey, you got some beef.
Home stretch. What's your beef? Hey, at 1 o'clock, it'll be fan talk. Plenty of Cubs, Sox, and Bulls talk. Trade rumors. Nothing more fun than that. Well, maybe going over to Brown's for lunch today. That would be fun. You know the chicken's terrific, but they ain't just chicken anymore. Lunch at Brown's. Hey, there's one just up ahead, 50 Chicagoland locations. Don's in Carroll Stream. Now he's on the score. Hello, Don.
Hey, Murph, what's going on?
Hey, what's your beef?
My beef is with Kenny Williams. Kenny Williams had a meeting with Ozzie Guillen and Captain Paul Konerko about a way to improve this team. Now, this is the same Kenny Williams that had a meeting last year about trying to improve the team, and Paul Konerko, the so-called captain, said no. What the heck is he doing with having Paul Konerko in a meeting like that? This is the same thing going over and over again, and they will not approve this team because they asked Paul Konerko, for all people that's having a slump himself, to approve this team. Better yet, why wouldn't we have Greg Walker in the meeting at the same time to ask him how can we improve the team?
You know, Don, I've been following sports a long, long time, and this is a new one on me, having a player advising the general manager. If I were the GM, I'd be afraid that the owner might say, hey, you know what, we don't need you. We'll just ask the players what to do in the future, Don.
Exactly.
Hey, Don, good one. Thanks for calling, buddy. Appreciate it very much. Bob's in Palatine. Hello, Bob.
Hi there.
Hey, Bob, it's Murph. What's your beef?
Hi, Murph. I've never called you before, but I'm really angry about this. I'm really angry about Bob Watson and Major League Baseball. TV starts this whole damn thing in the paper on Friday, and then he runs out on the field and gets into the fight and gets thrown out, and he doesn't get suspended. Then Young only gets 5 games like Derek Lee. He's going to miss a spot in the rotation.
A starting pitcher should get 9 games minimum.
Absolutely.
Because 5 means nothing if you cherry pick it right after you start. You wait 5 games. All right, they may have to bring a 6th starter up or a bullpen guy, but you're basically not missing anything.
Yes, both of those guys should have missed at least 1 start.
You raise a great point about Peavy. How can the commissioner's Bobo, Bob Watson, How can he read in the paper a threat that we're going to drill a guy or we should have drilled a guy in the ribs and not take action? Bob, phone again. I like your angle, buddy.
Okay.
Appreciate it. And our final beefer of the day for Browns, chicken sandwiches, pasta, beef, and that $99 graduation special, man. It loads you up for $99 this weekend with everyone coming over. Just get a hold of your neighborhood Browns at brownschicken.com and order up that $99 graduation party special. I'm telling you. Tom is in Arlington Heights. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, Murph.
Hey.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. What's your beef, Tom?
I got a beef that really burns my buns. You know what I'm saying?
Burns your butt, right.
Here's what the situation is. Let's go back a couple weeks ago where the Cubs are in San Diego.
Yeah.
And they're playing a couple of night games. And every time the Cubs are in the field, you've got this boneheaded Padres mascot standing right behind home plate, jumping around, Now, correct me, don't the umpires have the ability to ask fans who are standing out in the batter's eye, they can ask them to move? Why is it that this guy is allowed to do his thing? I didn't notice him there when the Padres were in the field. It was strictly when the Cubs were in the field.
Tom, that's a great point, and I noticed that also and didn't think to jot it down on the yellow pad. Thanks to you for bringing that to our attention. If there's someone even out in center field, like you say, that's wearing like a white shirt or standing, they can have him move.
That's right.
Now you see the fans behind the plate, with the cell phones, and they're waving all the time. And there's not much, I guess, you can do about, 500 fans behind home plate because those are $200, $250 tickets. But the home team mascot, I don't know why he's allowed for any team. And it could be, with the Giants in San Diego, it didn't have to just be a Cub thing. I know where you're coming from. Why is that Padre allowed to do that?
We got to send that guy back to the mission. There's no question.
Bud Selig declined to talk to us.
Yeah, the problem is Bud Selig doesn't listen to you and me. Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Murph.
Appreciate it very much. So many beefs, so little time. Most of the beefs are over at Browns.
Thanks for participating in What's Your Beef. Join Murph for another edition of What's Your Beef. What's Your Beef has been brought to you by Brown's Chicken Sandwiches and Catering.
All winners of the Mike Murphy Show are only eligible to win prizes once in a 60-day period.